also, where can we put the hammer down? Where can we look at our past and let go of maybe some of the stories that we have about where we think other people didn't show up? And maybe it all comes back to, did we even communicate what we were looking for or wanting or needing? We have been in a very elaborate game of charades for way too long.
Welcome back, Envisionaries, to the Dream into Being podcast, where mind science, transformational psychology, and magic all merge into one. If you're ready to dream again and transcend the inertia of what you've known, then I invite you to join me, your host and Envisioneer, Kat Devine, in expanding the boundaries of your own Fantasia by remembering that you are the master you've been waiting for.
If we don't ask for exactly what we want in a very clear and kind way, it is next to impossible for it to show up and manifest. If we don't have that clarity and we just ask for evidence of prosperity, maybe it'll show up and we'll just miss it because we weren't specifically looking for that. Or it just won't show up because it has no clear guidance. When we're children, many of us grew up in situations with our caregivers that, again, this is not the blame game, you guys, at all. The sooner we can put down those hammers, the better for everybody. Forgiveness is such a beautiful gift that when we choose that, that is what we receive as well. So, however, I do want to shed some light on what happens when we are children and we aren't taught how to communicate properly. So when we're young, we may be in a situation where our needs and our wants are just simply not a priority. And what happens to us is we're very creative beings. Even at that age, we will figure out other ways to get our needs met. Where this can get complicated is, especially for empaths and sensitive beings, we develop very creative ways to get our needs met. And this can be things like, emotional outbursts or total emotional shutdown and withdrawal, which can then lead to addictive tendencies and behaviors. This can also turn into like elaborate storytelling and over exaggerating and or not truth telling, right? Or it can show up in the form of victim mentality or just complaining about our lives, believing that we are powerless. So all of those manifestations are the seeds of both mental and physical illness. And again, when I share these things with you guys, it comes from a place of sincere compassion because I have been there and I have animated these things and I've just chosen to forgive myself for them. And it's amazing that the people in my life have been so gracious to forgive me too, because we're all just learning. We're all on this path together. We're all walking each other home. So once you do understand, you'll start developing this capacity to, we've been talking a lot about values. So hopefully by now you guys have a better idea of the things that you actually want. And then what are your expectations around that when it comes to dealing with other people or working with other people, or even just being in a relationship with other people? Like, what is it that we're expecting? And then communicating those expectations or desires kindly and in a way that is a win-win for everybody, where everybody is increased because of it. And until we develop those skills, what will happen is we'll simply not ask for what we want, or we will create a lot of drama in hoping that somebody will notice and give us what we want, which I was an expert at and was not very successful in getting my needs met. So that way doesn't work. Yeah. So again, this comes back to total self-empowerment and total personal responsibility. And as soon as you know what you want, developing that muscle to be brave and to ask for it. Ask and you shall receive, right? I mean, gosh, this one thing really I'm seeing, no matter, even with the butterflies, we can do it. We can totally do it. Just commit to feeling uncomfortable and you'll get through it and you'll get your needs met.